In coming to the Free Store, I have received all type of items from Clorox, toothpaste, disinfectants, household items, as well as personal items. Because during the pandemic, finances was very slow, and they still are slow for most in America. I'm no exception. But I thank God that the reach out from the Free Store have been advantageous for us all who have the access to be here and come here.
I got involved with the Free Store in, I want to say September, October, November, one of them in 2018. At the time, it was just pop-ups in Lynn Park in downtown Birmingham. And so we would go once a month and bring up a bunch of clothes racks and tables full of books and things like that and let people come and take stuff for free. And then it got to a point where, since it was so sort of temporary and like ephemeral, there was a sense that like everybody had to really rush and get in this sort of frenzy to get everything. And that was not what we wanted. We wanted to find a way to make a more like pleasant, like shopping experience. And so we decided we wanted to get a store.
Once they got their actual space sorted and they just had like a higher volunteer need, I just started going down there fairly regularly to help, bring donations, sort donations, volunteer. Obviously, like the most direct goal is like get things to people who need it. But also, I think one thing that's really, really special about that is there isn't like a singular mission, a singular vision. Because again, like I said, like the Free Store belongs to you. If you have an idea, tell us, or come and do it. And I think that it can be something different for everybody that becomes a part of the community around it.
It just makes you feel at home, being at home among a spirit of humanity. And I must say that they treat everyone equal. They really do.
It's like an act of solidarity, as opposed to charity, which is like a top-down organization. We try to keep more of a horizontal structure. There is a tendency, I think, for people to sort of defer to like the three people who maybe were the first people who started the store. So I think there are still ways that we're struggling with that, or trying to figure out how we can adapt to that to make everyone feel like they have an equal voice in it. But we try to include everybody in what we're doing. About half of our volunteers now are people who started out as shoppers.
But I think that another really, I guess in a bigger picture, is the goal that I see around it, and something that I think really distinguishes the Free Store from a lot of these more established entrants like nonprofit, like government services or whatever, is that it has a very revolutionary goal, that they are very explicit that, this is not something we do to make up for the shortcomings of capitalism and for the shortcomings of the government, of the state, and make it so we don't have to rely on that anymore. It's a project of transformation, not just a Band-Aid.
As a transgender woman, I like the fact that we are trying to intentionally create a space that is safe and welcoming for queer people. It's not always the case in thrift stores or charities or what have you. And sometimes it can take some very purposeful insistence on doing things a certain way that is maybe not the easiest, but I think it's worth it. I see a lot of other queer people come through here, and it makes me really happy.
And I can honestly say that they did more than the American government when you look at the generalities of things, because even our own government didn't even supply low-income places that needed desperate help. And it's a tear-jerking thing for me, because personally, you would think that a government which is much greater than a store should have done more and did more.
Yes. I think the biggest problem we have is that some people who donate maybe are not thinking through with like their empathetic mind. You know, they're thinking, well, this is all stuff I'm getting rid of, so I'll donate it to the free store. And we appreciate that. But at the same time, we just want people to think about, well, I'm getting rid of it, but will someone else want it or use it? And a lot of times the answer is yes. But sometimes the answer is no, and I think people don't think through that all the time, and sometimes we just get like dirty little plastic junk and clothes that really can't even be worn anymore because they're so dirty or like soiled or torn up. Like the big hurdle to get through is finding a space to run it, and just dealing with landlords or whoever else you have to deal with to have that space. And we've got to pay rent on it and everything like that. And giving away things for free doesn't really bring in a lot of money. So we're running a Patreon, and that's helping us out a lot.
But they do have to raise money. They have to pay their rent, and they have to pay utilities, and they have a lot of people that they encounter there who need money directly. Like they have enough clothes and they have enough food, but they have bills they need to pay, and they have to get this money one way or another. And often the community really, really does come through for that, which is fantastic. But COVID has definitely been really, really tough too. You know, it's not doing it as this act of charity or something like, oh, like we have so much, we deign to give you some. It's a recognition like people need help, and we work best. We form the strongest communities when we share our resources and when we all work together and just help each other get along. And of course, doing that too very like directly, very like providing exactly what is needed instead of having like to go through any sort of intermediary as like a church or a charity or, you know, any sort of government organization that is using this aid service sort of as a way to impose an authority in some way, but just being like, yeah, you know, we are people doing this autonomously on our own.
Just as soon as I started volunteering, I just was sold on it. I was very passionate about it. So I've been helping out ever since then. And really, if anyone wants to help out, a lot of times they can just come in and ask how they can help. If we've got too many volunteers that day, we'll let them know another day they could come help. If someone's got like Instagram or Facebook, they could message us on there asking how they can help.
I'm also, whenever I'm here, for whatever help I can be, I render my free services as they do theirs. I look at it like this. Each one reach one and each one teach one. And wherever goodness is offered, you should offer that in return. And if more people was like that, even with this crisis of COVID, it wouldn't be half as bad as it has been. I would actually want to say to everyone, feel free to stop by the free store. You'll get to meet a lot of people that you never would have met in life. And you'll be surprised of the many different things that you have in common with people that you normally wouldn't have even came across.
We just want to make sure people know that like we're giving it to them for free because they deserve it. Because the stuff is here. We have enough stuff to feed and clothe and house everybody. So there's no reason everybody shouldn't be fed and clothed and housed and have what they need.